From the back, I am the Power Lord. Flip around, and I'm just a dude. And that's the premise of Power Lords, one of the weirdest action figure lines of all time. It's an action figure line that still holds fascination today because I think this design is just so remarkable. There's just something about the design of the characters that holds up so much that it's basically being rebooted every few years. First, the Four Horsemen tried to reboot it a few years ago. Didn't go so well. Now it's been rebooted by Nacelle, which is actually turning it into the Nacelleverse, which is a whole universe that has sectors and biker mice from Mars or something. I don't know because I'm too old for that shit. And it also adds in Power Lords. So they're all in this one universe. So what we're going to do is we're going to rank every toy in the Power Lords universe because there's not a lot of them. And we can do it in one video. So I do a lot of these ranking videos that seem to be enjoyed. And we have ranked a lot of G.I. Joe. I've ranked a little bit of He-Man, but mostly it's been G.I. Joe. And so I'm going to try another thing. What I love about ranking is what makes it fun. It's a way of looking at like the whole line, everything that came out in a year, or in this case, the whole thing. And just seeing it from a fun, non-linear perspective from the worst to the best. So at the beginning of these videos, I'm always going to be making fun, right? So if you're like a huge Power Lords fan, you're like, I'm like, trust me, I love Power Lords. When I get to the end of this video, it's going to be a love fest. When we start off, it's going to be not so much love. But, so we're going to talk everything that came out. Another reason I'm doing this is because I just am about to put out a Mythology of Power Lords video that should be out in a little bit. I'll put it here once it comes out. And so this got me back into it. Now I really remember Power Lords because I was a fan. I did have the majority of the figures. I had the first wave. I think I didn't even know there was a second wave. It was one of those things, back in the 80s, you didn't really know what was out. You found out what was out based on, when you went to the store and saw it. I don't really remember seeing any of the second wave. Maybe I would have bought them. That I have a stash of 80s toys. Now I kept everything except my He-Man, which I, for some godforsaken reason, gave away. But I kept everything else. I don't even know what I have anymore, so occasionally I do like a little toy hunt in my own garage where I pour through, and somewhere in there may be Power Lords, but I don't have time to look for that shit. But anyway, so let me know, what's your relationship with Power Lords? Did you have them? Are you a fan? I think it'd also be an interesting thing to talk about is like, why did this line not work? But yet still holds so much fascination. I think one of the reasons why it holds so much fascination still is one of the creators, Wayne Barlowe, is just an absolutely amazing designer. He's the guy that designed the aliens. In fact, the initial idea of Power Lords was Revell went and saw that Wayne had created this book, Barlowe's Guide to Extra-terrestrials, and where he had drawn all kinds of weird-ass aliens. You can actually get this book, by the way, online at the Internet Archive. I'll put a link in the description. Get a PDF copy of it and port through it and just see this guy's got such an amazing sense. And, the proof of that this guy is so good at it is he did not retire after this. After he did Power Lords, he went on to create monsters and the robots for Pacific Rim, all the monster designs for Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy, alien life form for Avatar, and working for James Cameron, and also worked on tons of video games. So this is a guy who is he's the alien designer. He's the best in the world at alien design, and he created the Power Lords. And so if you wonder why are these so fascinating, so cool looking, well, that's why. It's Wayne Barlowe. And so what you're also going to notice is that the stuff at the bottom of the list is because Wayne Barlowe did not do the second line. And so all that first wave is the stuff that really holds up. It's just super weird and cool and just awesome things to think about. So let's talk about everything that came out online. Now, normally I would do, the ranking would really be just figures, but this line's just not that big, and so I think we can talk about everything in one video. It's not going to be very hard, and give you a sense of what the whole line was like. Very low on the list here for this line is all of the vehicles, which let's just throw them right in, except for one, into this soup of mediocreness. I think that, where there was a genius at the helm working on the character design, there was not so much a genius working on vehicles. And most of them just seem very, very lame. The Power Patroller, the Spizor, and then ultimately the Power Ship, which is the Power Ship was the one vehicle that came out in the beginning, and it's sort of an atom power ship. But it just isn't. It's pretty unmemorable. I mean, it's if it was a GI Joe vehicle, it would be like ranked bottom. So those are the vehicles. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so all right, so very last on my list, and again, it's like I think what makes this line special is that very unique design sensibility that Wayne Barlowe brought to the line, and without him, it suffered a loss. And so the second wave just isn't as good. Now, there's a few that are okay. And I'm going to put Drench at the bottom of my list. Okay, the Drench. Okay, so Drench he just feels like he's not even from this line. There's nothing special about him. He has a, very generic alien look to him, and he squirts water. And there's a million toys that squirt water. And apparently, Drench is an alien that shoots you with, a freezing water thing. So it's supposed to, freeze your enemies. He is just not very exciting. And so that's why he's the bottom of the list. Okay, next we have, and this one is, notoriously the Power Lords started out great, and then second wave shit the bed. And one of the things that they did is they created the Beast Machines. And the Beast Machines are 4 tank-like monsters that just look like they come from a completely different line. They just, I don't know, they look like weird. They just don't even look anything like Power Lords. They don't even fit. They have massive dudes. First of all, okay, and the bottom of the list is the good guy. So it's another weird thing about this line is there's 4 good guys total in the whole line. 4. And everything else is evil. It's just evil, 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 evil. Just puts evil out there. And for the worst of the Beast Machines has to be Savore, who looks like a ripoff of He-Man. But it doesn't even look like that. You just, ripped off the top of a He-Man and just stuck him on a bottom tank. He's not good. It would be one thing if he, as a shirtless man, roided out dude with tank body, he fit and it was like around Atom Powers, but he's not. He's huge. He's like, the Power Lords figures were bigger. They're a little bigger. I think like 5.5, something like that. 5 inches, I think. And but he's like a 12-inch figure. He's huge. He's just massive, roided out dude with tank treads. He looks like a He-Man rep. What he looks like is like the when you have to have the knockoff toys, like a Temu version of He-Man that somebody ripped in half and stuck on a tank. He's terrible. And I don't really know. It just doesn't fit in any way. Next in line, we have Torque. Now, Torque is an evil alien, and he looks to me like a Power Rangers villain. He just looks exactly like a Power Rangers villain. What's really interesting about Torque is that he's a yellow, like spiky-looking monster with a trident, and he has 2 heads. There's a lot of this in Power Lords. Somebody who has like 2 heads. But what's really fun about Torque is his dick becomes his head, kind of, right? So he's like, or his ass becomes his head. So it's like, in one form, he flips over, and you turn him around, and his face is upside down where his ass is. And then you flip him back up, and now all of a sudden, he's got his old face. He's got 2 faces, and so does he, like, when he's in one form, is he, like, shitting out his mouth? Or what's going on with Torque? I don't know what's going on with Torque. He's weird. Torque is weird. He's not the best. But he's kind of got a fun look to him, I guess. Okay, next in line we have more Beast Machines. Again, this is the bottom of the list. This is we haven't get the good stuff yet. All right, this stuff is not good. And of the evil Beast Machines, we have 3 evil Beast Machines. Okay, and Thrash is one of them. Now, what I don't like about Thrash, I think he's probably the most mediocre of the Beast Machines, is he's just like a dude with red skin. He's just like a roided out dude with red skin. And I think what's lame about the Beast Machines is four of them. They come out with four in one fell swoop, and they all basically have the same set. They have like a tank, a big ass dude, roided out, muscular, who's got a shield and a sword, and it's got like missiles on the front. And honestly, I gotta admit, kid in the 80s, tank, tread, monster, roided out, I love that thing, but he just doesn't really fit. And of him, he's the least interesting looking, I guess. Slightly more interesting looking than Thrash is Evol. Now, Evol has a much cooler aesthetic. Not much different to say. And you know what? I'm going to surprise you because I am putting the fourth Beast Machine somewhere else. Because I'll talk about that later. Next, we have Disguisor. Now, Disguisor, again, this is still second wave, and second wave just doesn't have that Wayne Barlowe, energy to it. But Disguisor is kind of a cool looking thing. I actually really like Disguisor. I mean, he's like a pretty badass looking, massive monster with this giant club, whose face flips over, and he has a new face, right? What I love about this is, and this happens in all throughout toys, is who's he disguising as? Was there a good guy that looks just like him but with a different face? Because that body is pretty specific. How is he disguising him as anything? Again, this is okay. I can't shit on him too much because Zartan, puts on a face, but he's still wearing, his Zartan little hood. And, and the same thing, Manny switches his face, but he's still wearing this weird old armor suit. So, whatever. I guess Disguisor is another one that's just like, you're disguising, but no one is buying it. Like, no one's fooled. It's just completely stupid. If you can overlook that Disguisor is just like a useless feature, like he's not... he's objectively looks pretty badass. First, he's massive, and he's got spikes everywhere, so I can imagine as a kid, they actually had pretty good articulation. Another thing about the Power Lords is there was a good, better articulation than what we're used to. They articulated the ankles, the elbows, the shoulders, so there was a lot of good articulation in these figures. Probably some of the best that I can remember. A little bit bigger size, they had a cool, so that made them kind of fun. Next in line, we have Back Attack. Now, Back Attack is kind of a fun figure. We're getting into some cooler designs here. He had this feature where he basically has like porcupine spine on his back, right? So if you're in, obviously it's his name. His name's Back Attack. And it's like, his file card is like, don't attack him from the back, because he's gonna back attack. And he's gonna shoot this, I don't know. It doesn't really work because he's gonna like turn his back to people and shoot. But he also has this like kind of cool claw hand. He's got a couple of attachment weapons. So it's just as like an alien warrior. He's cool. And he almost hits the note of a Wayne. No, he doesn't. He's sort of a generic alien guy. I think without Barlowe, you don't have a line anymore. I think you got to retire the line. They didn't. And so the second wave just completely suffers. Okay, now, here we are. All good from here. Now we're in the good stage. All of it's great. And the bottom of the great, almost all, designed by Wayne Barlowe with that weird, cool aesthetic. We have Rhaegoth, the Goon of Doom. I don't think goon means the same thing as it means now. It used to mean you were a bad guy who worked for like another bigger bad guy. It didn't mean, I don't know how he would goon with those like pinchers. But, YouTube, don't check me. I'm talking about the goon. I'm not talking about goons. I'm not talking about gooning. I'm talking about goon, like being a goon, all right? So don't hit me on that shit. Rhaegoth had like a reflecting surface, which is supposed to be, it's like a collection of like crystals that he maybe eats, and they can deflect blasts, and then he's got a laser gun, and he's got these two clamper hands. So he's big and he's powerful looking, and he's a conqueror. All three of the main bad guys in the first round are conquerors, and they all were conquerors in their own right. And then Arcus, the big bad, comes and he like enslaves them and makes them his conquerors. So Rhaegoth is the least cool of them, I think. but he's still pretty good. All right, I'm going to put in, you're going to be surprised you hear a little bit, one more Beast Machine. I am going to say the Beast Machines get shit on by almost everybody who ever talks about this line. Everybody talks about how the Beast Machines are stupid, Beast Machines are crap. You had a Beast Machine when you were a kid. If you had, I didn't have one. You got a giant dude with a tank that's roided out and he's got weapons, he's got missiles. It's pretty bad. It's pretty badass. It does not look like it fits in Power Lords. I think if Beast Machines were a He-Man toy, I'd be all about them. Because they're also giants. They're bigger than the rest of the Power Lords. They're massive people. They're, But where the other ones fall down, Warbot succeeds. Warbot, that thing is nightmare fuel. Look at Warbot. He is terrifying. Also, he's got missiles that are red skull heads. Right? That's what his missiles are. They shoot off tank treads. He's absolutely frightening looking. That thing is awesome. You mix... kill the other ones. Stupid. They're stupid. Just a Warbot in this line kind of works. And a Warbot in general, move him out, put him in another line, is awesome. Any other line, science fiction based or whatever, He-Man, whatever, take me, or Thundercats, whatever. Throw in Warbot and you have an awesome toy. So I'm eyeing me a Warbot on eBay. Okay, next in line we have Shia. Now this line, Revell had no idea what they were doing. Let's just say that Revell had no clue. They had a girl. Okay, they had 3 good guys and one of them was a girl. Now girl toys weren't selling back in the day. Apparently, it never bothered me. I always wanted the girl. I always wanted the girl characters because I wanted the full story. And now you're seeing as collectors, any of us collector guys, we all want the female characters. They're all whatever. Shia was pretty cool. I had Shia, and she was a pretty cool, pretty weird. She is the queen of power. But what's great about Shia is, one, front facing. First of all, she's got a bra and panties on that you could take off. You didn't see it, see anything underneath. She had clothes, but she had like a weird bra with one strap on it and some panties. And then in order for her special power, though, was she would transform into the Power Lord, I guess, similar to Atom Power. But you would just, instead of spinning her around, so like in Atom Power, you press a button, he spins around, and then he's Atom Power, right? He's the Power Lord. With her, she had like a cape and she had a hat. And the hat was pretty cool looking. It's this, weird helmet. It's got like a third eye kind of thing going on. She has a third eye on her head too. And then you take the cape off. I think you take the bra off. I don't remember if the bra goes on to a weird alien body or you're supposed to take that shit, because you could take it off, which you did, of course, as a kid. You're like, oh, that's a bra, I'm taking it off. Maybe there's boobs under there. I don't know. I'm just checking to be thorough, because if there is, awesome. Probably not. But I'm checking. And so, you get that. And then she spins around. Now, pretty weird as a feature, because when you get the figure in hand, one half of her is this blue human-like thing, and the other half of her is a red. She got 4 feet. For those the feet guys, she got 4 of them, right? Red ones, blue ones. And she swivels around, and she's this really kind of gross-looking thing. She's just kind of gross. She looks like all of her skin's been removed, but then you look and she's more like of a red alien. She's got a very unique alien look to her. And then she's got this weapon it's called a laser whip, but it clearly does not look like a whip at all. I don't get it. It looks like, and on the comic book, they actually make it a saber. It's like a lightsaber. Yeah, right. Actually, no, it's a power saber. Everything in this is power. Power, 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 power. Power Jewel, Power Saber, Power, Power, Power. Everything's a power, right? Okay, because it's Power Lords, which is a terrible name. Just going to lay that out there. Terrible name. Okay. Attached to her wrist, and, in the comic book, she can use it as a lightsaber kind of thing, or she can fire energy blasts from it, and she's pretty cool. So, of the weirdness, I think she might be the weirdest figure in this entire line. She's so weird. She's kind of creeps you out when she's turned around into an alien. And I kind of love that about this character being the female character, and then she's grotesque and alien and weird looking and powerful. Kind of an awesome figure, and one of the ones that I know I have somewhere, or unless I did get rid of it, it's possible, but I would like to dig it out because that's awesome. It's totally awesome. Next in line, we have Arcus. Arcus is the big bad of the Power Lords line, and he is like an insectoid character who he's got wings, and he has laser blasters which clip onto his arms, and he has 2 of them. And he also has like his pincher hands, which are pretty great. I do see that seems to be very fragile. It seems like if you got one of these guys, chances are he's broken on you. But overall, I think he's got a great design. Here's my problem with Arcus. And he also says, like, if you read his spoiler cards, pretty fascinating. He's a dictator. He doesn't eat. He doesn't sleep. He never tires. He feeds off the anguish of his victims. He's just pure evil. And he basically got his whole brood of villains by just dominating them. So they were all conquerors. He dominated all of them. His cool design doesn't look like a big bad to me. I'm sorry. But if you're going to put him against like Mumra, or he looks like a sidekick of the big bad. He just does not hold up as like the villain of this piece, right? I think other ones are better. I think Griptog was way better, way cooler looking than Arcus. So that's kind of weird that he's just this. He's this big, bug thing. He just is not, and he's cool, very cool figure, and very interesting that Wayne Barlowe aesthetic is there. He looks like nothing else, and a lot of fun features to him: the clamping hands, the laser blasters, the wings that flap. You press a little button on his back. But this is your big. How is this your big bad? It's just he does not hold up as the big one. He's no Skeletor or Mumra. I think that's a thing, and maybe that's one of the reasons why the line fell apart. Is you've got a cool concept, you've got a cool looking characters, you've got a great design and fun features, but you've got no big villain. That's really very intimidating. Okay, next in line we have, and like I said, one of everything here, and Vulcan Rock. Now, Vulcan Rock was basically the Castle Grayskull of the Power Lords. Same concept. You battle over Castle Grayskull. Whoever wins Castle Grayskull wins and is the master of the universe. Same here. Same concept.
This is Vulcan Rock. You can imagine Arcus, the evil dictator, fights Adam Power to control the galaxy.
Blaster Ray ready.
You have to put Vulcan Rock together.
Whoever wins Vulcan Rock is, and I wonder if they just flat out rip it off. I don't think it could be. They flat out ripped off the concept of Castle Grayskull to make Vulcan Rock. So they clearly took that same idea that we're going to battle over this place. This is going to be a battlefield, right? Because Vulcan Rock has secrets of the Power Lords. And in the comic book, we find that it's basically the Death Star. Like, it has an ion cannon that can vaporize a planet. And if you go in and you sneak through, and you'll find all kinds of secret weapons. The difference is, if you look at the outside of Vulcan Rock, it's just a rock. Whereas Castle Grayskull is this incredible sculpt. But they otherwise also have almost all the same play features. Cannons, elevator, trapdoor. So it is awesome. It's objectively an awesome playset. I would love it. It does have a cool feature that is unique to it, a bridge that can be knocked down. But it's no Castle Grayskull, let's face facts. But of the things that I want on here that I would like eyeing, and this is how I'm kind of approaching this particular one, where we can talk about all of it in one because it's small enough, is that of the things that I might want, I might want that one more than I want anything. That's where I would put it in the order of what I want. Next in line is Trigore. Now this thing is awesome, and I really want one. So what Trigore is a creature that's basically like in the comic book, there's an army of them that can travel through, intergalactic space. They can fly through space, and they have these pinchers that will crush you. And so you could use it as a beast, or you could pull off. It has a little hatch that you can pull off, and you can stick Arcus or some of the Power Lords in, and they can ride it. So it can be like a steed, or it can its own thing. This monster just flies. That's why it flies through space and shoots beams out of its pinchers and can crush things. And man, is it so weird looking. It's so cool looking. To me, this is one of the grails of this collection. One of the things that I would absolutely want more than anything would be the Trigore. I'd like to have 5 of them, in fact. And if you're going to reboot Power Lords, you got to make a Trigore. Sorry. It's just don't even bother him with the drench and shit. Make me a Trigore. Okay, next in line we have Atom Power himself. And this figure is weird. It's so weird. That's why I kind of love it. I did have Atom Power. And what's funny is, so you see on one side of the... And I think when they're remaking him, they're basically remade him as like, no, you get a Atom Power figure and then you get a Power Lord figure. They're separate. So they don't have that flip around effect. F that. I want to flip around. If you're going to make this thing, make him flip around like the original. It's a little awkward. It's weird. One of the things that's weird about it is if you look at his hands, he's got extra hand. He's got a finger thumb at the bottom that's blue because when he flips around, he's going to have hands still. So he's always like half. But to me, that was like part of what was fascinating about him. What was so cool and weird about him. But when he's in his normal look, he looks kind of lame when he's just like Atom Power. First of all, he looks like he just doesn't have a very cool looking face. He looks like your high school science teacher, you know. I'm not shitting on your high school science teacher. I'm talking about he looks like a dude like me, you know, because I'm a high school film teacher, right? So he looks like that kind. He's not very intimidating. I'm just gonna say. And he reminds me of Slim Goodbody for some reason. He doesn't really have the fro, but he just something about him reminds me of Slim Goodbody. Then you flip him around, and he's got this very weird face. It's got an alien nose. His nose is kind of squashed, and he's got the power jewel on where his third eye would be, and he's got these veins of power through him. And then he looks kind of badass, but he's still got that extra thumb, right? He's got that. And then you turn him around, and obviously he's got like a different face, lame face guy on the back of his head. So he's just like a very weird figure. Now, he comes with a gun, which is completely useless. It barely fits in his hand from what I remember. And when you read the comic book, he's like basically Captain Marvel's powers. He can fly through space, he can shoot beams, he can phase through objects, he's super strong. You didn't need a gun. What's he gonna do with the gun? So I don't know why he has a gun. He really doesn't need any. I guess it's good to have an accessory, but he doesn't basically not need it. Great figure though. Super weird looking and a great protagonist to an awesome line. Next in line we have Psyot. Psyot, and I love Psyot the Supreme. This is one of the best figures in the line, and again just stands out as a great figure because it's so unique looking. It has such a great aesthetic. It definitely looks like, it would fit really well in a Hellboy movie or in, some sort of, was a, weird side alien in Avatar. But even then in the figure itself, I had Psyot and I had one, there's 2 versions. One has like a silver armor and one has just a more like plain armor. But one of the armors he has a gun and binoculars. They fit pretty nicely in there. But again, what makes him great is he's got he's got a different physicality. He's got a tail, so you can use the tail like whip carrot, knock somebody out. And he also has a little trigger on the back of his mouth that allows you to not only open his mouth. He's got these chompers. He's got some good teeth. You can bite something off, but he also would make his tongue move, which just was very cool. And so I think Psyot's design is up there with just being the coolest thing, one of the coolest things in the Power Lords line. And it just, that aesthetic is there in its most pure form. He's also not a particularly weird, figure like Atom Power and, Shia, where you're like, that's so cool, but it's weird. It's just so weird. I'm uncomfortable with this thing. He just fits. He fits as a very cool looking alien. And lastly, going to be my favorite figure in this entire line. The one that I most want to dig out of my garage would be Griptog. Griptog is the four-fisted brute, right? And he has a very unique alien look. He just looks like he comes from a weird fantasy book. Or he looks like something the Four Horsemen would do now. Just incredibly well designed. He's got these 4 hands. And then he has a laser mace that has a ball on it, so it would fit between his 2 hands, and so he could whip it around, kind of. I remember having it being something you felt like really could flail around, assume it shoots lasers or something. Then he also has this weird feature, which I could take or leave, because I actually think his face is really cool, and he looks really badass, and he's just powerful. He looks really powerful, and just makes a great figure. Best looking figure in the line. But he has this feature where you can spin around his head, and he's got like a cute face. He's got like a badass face, and then he's got like kind of adorable. He's kind of adorable right there. And I don't know what that is supposed to be. Like, what is he supposed to have? 2 faces? Does he have 2 personalities? Is he trying to be like Disguisor? I mean, what is the point of him having 2 faces? I don't understand. Not sure what that's about, but he's still the best figure in the Power Lords line, in my opinion. That's what I think. What do you think? You let me know in the comments below, and let me know what other 80s toy lines you want me to rank if you're really interested in looking at a good comprehensive list of a lot of them. I did a ranking of the 50 greatest action figure lines of the 80s there, and you can watch that and you can tell me what other ones I should talk about. And otherwise, like and subscribe and all that stuff that they tell you to do on the YouTubes.